A home's entry is something often overlooked, yet one of the most utilized spaces. It is at once a place where we pass through, but also one filled with emotion, where we greet our friends, loved ones, bid farewell, or where we frantically put on our boots to run out the door. Whether it's having somewhere to sit and decompress after a long day, or plan for the next adventure, the entry acts as the mediator of all the action, the transitional space into the home. We wanted this place to feel welcoming, warm, and lived in, where the kids could climb up to have a seat, grab their jacket from the wall, and slip into their rubber boots, where plants could perch up high, framing the view out to the wilderness beyond. Hi, I'm Stéphane Bolduc, an architect and designer based out of beautiful Vancouver, Canada. Today, I'll be going over the recent transformation of our entryway from this cluttered, unorganized mess to this. The house was built in the 50s, and for some reason, an entry closet never made it into the design. So we've been making do with this freestanding coat tree and shoe rack, which looked really cluttered, was poorly organized, and blocked the view that makes this place so special to begin with. The whole design process started out with me pulling out my sketchbook and getting some initial ideas on paper. I already had a rough idea of what I wanted, with the main feature being a floor-to-ceiling wood slat wall. I then started modeling some of the main features of our entry wall using SketchUp, my main software of choice for small projects like this and concept design. Designing something for an older home usually poses a few challenges, and this case was no different. Firstly, we have a vent at the base of the wall, and so I had to figure out how to integrate that and create a kind of cutout around it for the base of the slat wall. There's also original plasterwork throughout the home that we needed to preserve. Since drilling into the wall wasn't an option, I had to think of a different way to secure the wood slat wall in place. After a lot of brainstorming and consideration, I came up with an idea to use these industrial leveling feet at the top and bottom of the wall. The idea being that I could friction fit the whole assembly between the floor and the ceiling. I had never really tried something like this before, so I really had no idea if it could work, and to be honest, it kind of made me nervous the whole time I was building the wall, but I figured it was worth a shot. The framing for the slat wall is built in two parts to allow it to be installed with minimal clearance to the ceiling. After the individual wood slats are in place, I'll start construction of the bench framing, complete with wood slats matching the wall. Once everything is in place, the shelf is then mounted along with 2 rows of wood hooks. Before we go any further, let's get this place cleaned up to make room for the new build. Now let's get into the construction portion of it. I don't have a wood shop at my house, so I build everything in my driveway or my carport using a very limited set of tools. I typically use a skill saw, a few drills, a jigsaw, and a whole lot of clamps. Once I got the shop set up outside, the first step is to build the base frame that the larger portion of the wall will sit on. I started out by cutting all the legs, complete with small notches to allow space for the baseboard trim along the bottom of the wall. I then installed leveling feet on each of the legs to ensure that I can get the base perfectly level. After drilling the holes, I hammered in the nut and threaded in each of the feet. Next up is the wall framing and wood slats. I used the jigsaw and circular saw to pre-cut all of the pieces, then followed by a good sanding to remove splinters and get the wood to finish quality. After the individual pieces were prepped, I moved them all into the living room where I could test fit the wall. Sorry to my daughter for invading her play corner, but it was the largest and flattest area I had to work with. Once I had most of the frame laid out, I installed the central bracing, which give the wall its rigidity and will eventually support the shelf. I then laid out every individual wood slat on the frame. The slats were spaced out using wood blocks before fastening them in place. Next on the list is building the bench. I started with laying out the pieces forming the back portion. This section has most of the larger pieces of lumber since it will be used to tie together the shelf, side walls, and seating surface. I then assembled the bench shelf composed of 2x2s and 1x2 slats. Using spacers here as well keeps all the pieces evenly distributed. Next, I fastened together the sides, back, and shelf. I then loosely laid out the wood slats forming the bench top. The slats on the bench sides were fastened in place first, followed by the top. After the wall was lifted in place with the shelf and hooks installed, I applied a few coats of clear finish to everything, and it was finally time to slide the bench over. Overall, the area has completely transformed. Visually, the design helps the space feel more open and inviting, and it now serves as a central feature in our home, also creating a little bit of a modern touch in this mid-century house. We now have a place to hang all of our jackets, store our shoes, and get ready to tackle the day ahead. Despite all the challenges and the time it took to build, the result is something that really allows us to maximize the use of the space, while also fitting in with some of the unique and quirky mid-century design characteristics of the house. The project ended up costing around $600 Canadian to complete, and that's mostly material costs since it was a lot of my time and effort that went into putting the whole thing together. And it was really worth it. A lot of similar products on the market are $3,000 to $4,000, so saving that little bit of money and showing that you could use off-the-shelf materials to put something unique together and custom fit to our house was the result we were looking for.